Welcome everyone to the recap number 2 here of the 2022 Sinquefield Cup tournament. In round 2 we had two decisive games. Jan Nepomniachtchi winning with the white piece against Alireza Firuza in a very nice positional game where Alireza played a little bit passively in the rook endgame and ended up just slowly losing. Levon Aronian drew against Magnus Carlsen, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave drew against Wesley So, and Fabiano Caruana drew Lenier Dominguez. The best game of this round, in my opinion, was the Hans Niemann's victory with the white piece against Mamedyarov, and that's the game I want to show you. The game started off with c4, English defense, knight c3, knight f6, and we arrived to this position now. After e4, Shak played the move bishop c5, which is going to allow this sharp knight e5 idea. Another move, which is very safe and is a decent move in this position, is to play bishop b4 to put pressure on c3. And oftentimes in this kind of positions, black doesn't mind actually to take on c3 and give up the pair of the bishops in order to double up the pawns. So, but he played bishop c5 in this position. That's going to allow the sharp line and for Niemann to go for it. So he played knight takes c5, d4. Now forking the bishop and a knight. So now it's going to be basically was a temporary pawn sacrifice. If you're wondering why not bishop takes f2, yes, you could do that, but after takes, you take now, white is going to have the complete control of the center. Two bishops and a very nice control, so this will be a very, very big advantage / winning position for white. So that's why he played the move bishop b4. Knight takes e4, and now it looks like from the first glance it looks like, I mean, what is white really doing? The center is shattered and he's being pinned and everything, but now he plays the move queen f3, developing his queen, attacking on e4, and now c3. Knight c3, bishop a5. So pawn structure is bad for white, but he does have some initiative here. So bishop f4 comes in. It's a very concrete line here. Now we see the move long castle. How often you see white castling into the position where he's got double pawns and isolated pawn here? I mean, it looks they're absolutely terrible here, but it's very concrete. Definitely he has analyzed this position. Just looking at the clock, you can see both players are moving very fast. They have more time than they started with. And now rook b8, so this is all played pretty quickly. Queen e3, and now here's a critical moment here. Here you're supposed to play the move b5, and this is the best move for black that is going to offer a good counterplay. You play b5, c takes b5, a6. It's a big mess, but it looks like black is okay here. But after spending some time here, about 13 minutes, Mamedyarov played the move b6, which I didn't like because I think it's very slow for this position, and that's going to allow white to try to organize a quick attack. So from here on, and a couple of moves in a row, Hans didn't play the move h4, which was recommended by the engines in order to try to organize a quick attack. We have rook h3, rook g3 coming up, h5, h6 is out there as well. So this is a very natural move to try in this position, to try to go for attack. But he played bishop d3, which is fine, developing. Queen e6, and again here, once again, the idea is to play h4 here. h4, h5, and try to put pressure here. Try to have a strong attack. And white has a very nice advantage here. He plays queen g3, which is not the best move. It's a little bit too slow here. Rook e8, rook h1. He decides to bring the piece into the game. And now finally here, Mamedyarov decides to go for the break, b5. You have to do something quickly here, because otherwise white is just going to play bishop g5, bishop f6, and just try to give you a quick mate with the rook lift coming up as well here. So b5 is played, and it's going to get really sharp now. c5, you don't really want to take here, because then there are some lines like bishop a6, a4, c6, and it gets really, really complicated here. Okay, because after all, the king is right here on b2. So we have a4, trying to protect, and then c6, as I mentioned. So Hans played c5. Now we have the move b4, putting pressure, trying to open up the position. So of course you don't really want to take. So c4 is forced, and now b3 takes. And now we reach this position. It looks like black is absolutely fine. He's up exchange and he's doing okay. But now, very important moment in the game. Mamedyarov plays the move a5, very natural move, trying to play a4, but this turned out to be the critical error in this game. Okay, you don't really need to play this move here. Black has a very strong possibility. d5, trying to open up the position. Obviously, if you take queen d5, this is really bad. It's going to be big trouble after bishop e6. So you're just losing. So you have to take en passant. Now takes back, and you cannot take back here because the e1 is hanging. And now the d5 is another idea to open up. I mean, black is up exchange. White has to find good moves here. So queen e3 is one of the moves, but then d5, queen d4. We'll get into a position like this. Queen goes on c4 and bishop on e6, and black is quite comfortable here. I mean, bishop e6 comes in. I think black is just going to be looking great to win this game. So yeah, really a big missed opportunity here for Mamedyarov. If he played the move d5, I think he would have pretty good winning chances here. But instead he played a5, and now this is trouble. Bishop d2. Again, not the best move here. Perhaps he can start with the move queen h4, forcing g6, and then bishop d2 first. Bishop a6. Again, the idea is queen h4, queen d4. Try to provoke weaknesses and then bring it to the center. For that purpose, queen e7 is a very good move because you control this. Queen h3 is not that dangerous. Let's say g6, and then you still have to worry about the pawn on c5 hanging. Some a4 ideas as well there. So this is an important moment actually. Bishop d2, bishop a6 inaccuracy. From here on, I think Hans played really strong. Queen h4, g6, queen d4 now. Creating dark square weaknesses and centralizing the queen. So there are no tactics on c4 or anything. If you play 4, you're going to run into the move b4. Rook b3, bishop takes, b8. Again, very important to put pressure on b3, because if white plays the move king c3, then he can play b4 and just he will have control of the b4 square. Bishop takes a5, b4, and now sacrificing the exchange back. And here white is definitely better, but it's still not easy to convert because you got double pawns and you're up a pawn, but king is still a little bit exposed and there could be some chances. So bishop b4 is played, activating the bishop, queen e8, bishop b7, and now we get to the critical part here. Here, Mamedyarov played the move bishop a8, after which he's in pretty big trouble. So the best way to continue here would have been actually a little bit unusual. Take on d5, b1 is hanging, so you have to take, queen takes, c takes d5. So you get a position where the pawns are undoubled, but at the meantime the king is still quite weak here. So you can play queen b5, and there are a lot of checks in this position. It's gonna be a big task to convert this position. I mean, white still has good chances, something like this, king d2, c6, let's say d6, but again, not easy at all because of the threats here. Again, white still remains a good chances here, but not going to be easy. But instead he played bishop a8, which actually leads to a lot of trades. So for example, there was another interesting line here, bishop takes f7. This is still a little bit better for white, but not winning. Rook takes b8. The point is actually you get this pawn. And now if king has to go to f8, it's the only move, because if you go here after e6, e7, you're just simply losing the game. So you have to play the move king f8, because now if e6 is played, then you can play queen e8. And that way you prevent e7 and queen f7. If queen takes h7, queen takes e6, check, queen g8, queen f6, and basically it leads to an equality here. So let's go back to the game. So that's why he didn't play the move bishop f7. He decided simply to trade. Bishop a8, queen takes e7. So we have a pawn endgame, queen endgame, and now this extra c pawn, it's going to be very big because c7 is hanging as well. So now queen a5, queen a1, a blunder, after which black is just simply losing here. Queen a5 would have offered some chances. Actually, king b3, queen c5, and still white has a lot of work to do to win this endgame, because it's only one pawn, and let's say for example take, it will lead to a position like this, where, you know, with the queens on the board, you always have chances. Yeah, against the computer, like computer says it's +5, for example. He thinks it's completely winning. Yeah, against the engine, you don't have a chance. But in a real game with time pressure, you have some chances. So, yeah, this was a critical moment. Queen A5 was absolutely necessary. After Queen A1, now it's just lost because King goes on before. Again, there's only 1 minute on the clock for Hans, 47 for Mamedyarov, but it's not that difficult because now King is coming to C6 to pick up the C7 pawn, and it's very important that you have 2 pawns because your King is going to be well hidden there. Now Queen F6, attacking the pawn. Now, if you play King G3, G8, the problem is now you just play G3 and simply picking up the pawn on C7, and White is completely winning. So that's why I took on G2, King C7, take on F7, now Queen D5. Again, F4 is actually the best move here to keep the king in the box, and but Queen D5 is still good enough. I mean, there's just no constructions where you can do a perpetual here with 2 pawns. With 1 pawn, it's much harder to win this. Takes Queen G2, and now simply King B8, getting ready to push C7. Now C8 is coming, so Queen G3. Last effort here to try to keep it pinned. So now Queen B7, check, Queen D5. And after the move Queen B3, he simply resigned. It was a little bit unexpected for us when he resigned here because that he can continue, maybe he can push his pawn at some point, but I will show you exactly why he resigned, because King goes on C6, Queen A4 check, King D6. There are not so many checks in this position, so now Queen A6 check, Queen C6. And now basically ready to promote the pawn, Queen C8, Queen D7. If you go here, just simply King A7 and you just Queen. And if you go here, Queen E7. If you go to C8, you're just losing on H4 with a check. So Queen F4 check and Queen E5. Not so many checks left. If you take on C4, just simply Queen H8 check, promoting C8. If you go here, simply King D7. Check. And Queen E6. And now there's only 1 check left here. And King simply hides on E7. It's not that difficult to see that there's just not going to be a perpetual, because especially with the C4 pawn out there. So still a little bit surprising that he just resigned that position. He could have continued for another 10 moves, but I think Hans would have been able to win the game because he had already made time control. He had plenty of time in this position. But again, he could have definitely continued on. There are other ways now how White can also win here, but I think King C6 is the most precise. So this was a very nice win for Hans in round number 2 against a very strong opponent. And again, he basically got the last minute invite to this event because Richard Report withdrew from the tournament 3-4 days before the event. So this is a great opportunity for the young American to see how he will perform. So far it's a good start. Thank you guys for watching this game, and I will have recap videos of every round. So round 3 will be coming up soon as well. Okay, thank you and see you soon.